Sticking pins in deer, Tim Pilbeam explains the incredible technology packed into the latest Swarovski rangefinders.
What if I haven't got coverage?
It doesn't. it doesn't. Botham bats for shooting, Countryfile's Adam Henson sticks up for game, and tens of thousands of Fieldsports supporters have fun in the sun at the 2021 Game Fair. Rewilding fantasies, wolves are spreading across Europe, and it's not just Red Riding Hood that's angry. Sheep farmers are taking the law into their own hands. We investigate. We're giving away a knife, we're giving away an aim-point sight, we have news, we have hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Binoculars are essential pieces of hunting equipment. They improve your chances of success and help you make what you hope are the best decisions in the field, be it mountain or lowland. But they are a companion, a friend. They come along for the ride. Not anymore. Swarovski's latest range-finding binoculars get active, stuck in. They lock on to your target, then grab you by the arm and guide you in.
Are these the most technically advanced binoculars ever produced? Because these are very, very clever. I was about to swear then. These are very, very clever. They've got a tracking assistant, okay, which works with a mobile phone or on their own. It's got its own inbuilt integrated GPS system that works very closely with the range-finding system. Down the end there, I've got a very colourful character called Little Roe Deer. And I'm going to ping it and see what distance it is. And it's telling me it's 410 metres away. So I can't shoot from this distance. I need to get closer. The wind's coming towards us. So I want to get over there probably to take that shot. So in theory, my EL ranges will actually take me straight to that point. They'll pinpoint that. So I've gone to the app. And I'm connected to the binoculars. It's told me I'm connected. I need to get the measurements from the binoculars. It's 410 metres away, 246 degrees. And the actual angle going down to it is actually 3 degrees. So that's the one we're going to go for. So I plonk on that. And okay, we're on here. So I'm going to go on to automatic. There we go.
Turn it towards me. There we go. Oh my goodness.
So we're on.
You as a crow flies.
Yes. So that's where we're standing at the moment. And basically that's where the deer is. So we've got to somehow work our way across from this field here and find another location to take that shot. Okay. So I'm hoping that this app will actually pinpoint that all the time. So shall we see how we're getting on? And direction wise? Oh. There it is. That's the direction, and it's pointing me 409 metres, and it's over there. So wherever we walk around, that arrow will actually point there, or we use the actual map itself. Shall we go for a wander?
Let's go for a wander.
Okay. So we started up on the top of the field there. We've walked into the next field, and that's our existing location. And we know if we press that, we're actually 330 metres away from it.
But that looks like it's actually the right colour crop and everything else. It looks like we're actually in a stubble field. That's pretty weird.
That's really weird, yeah. So I don't know how updated the satellite it is, but there you go. Anyway.
Onwards.
Onwards.
And downwards.
But imagine if we're up in a mountain somewhere, up in the Highlands. I mean, how effective that can be. That'd be absolutely brilliant.
What if I haven't got coverage for 4G, 5G, 2G, 3G, whatever? What happens then?
It doesn't. It doesn't matter actually, because once again, this tracking assistant is that what it can do is work a different way. We can't rely on the phone, so that's gone. And what we can do is we can actually through the tracking system on the actual binoculars and go onto that measurement. We took that measurement at 410 metres from the top of the field here. I picked that measurement and I can just keep pinging back to my original position, and this will tell me how far I'm away from our target, but also if I need to go right or left. Okay, so let's just try this. I'm just going to find it at the moment. This is telling me, now I'm now pinging back to my original position, okay, and it's telling me I'm 316 meters away from our target, but also it's telling me I'm 147 meters off target, so I'm 147 meters to the left of that straight line. Okay, wow. So it's guiding me. So obviously I can't go that way because I can't get a shot in it. So I'm going to be carrying on, and I'm going to be going further and further away from it. Then as I walk closer to it, it will start saying this way or that way. So it's quite clever, isn't it? It really is quite clever. So once again, we'll see how both those systems work, actually.
But that's looking back at where we started, not at the target.
Yeah, so basically you've got to make sure, the most important thing with this, the tracking systems when you haven't got GPS, is wherever you start, make sure you've got something which is easily spottable from quite a distance away. So like a big tree or a bush or somewhere else, you need some landmark because you want to keep on going. You have to go back to your original position. Okay, so we started at 410 meters on the top of the hill above the buggy. We headed over to the far side there through the gate and came past the buggy on the oilseed rape stubble. We've headed across down up towards the farm buildings and headed down this hedgerows as if I was stalking a roe deer. So in theory, there's a roe over there somewhere. So if I look at my app at the moment, it's telling me it's 194 meters away, and it's actually down there. And if we looked over my shoulder, and if you look at this app, and if I go onto the map itself, we are here in the field next to the hedge, which I've stalked down, and our road target is actually down there, which is down the bottom of the farm there. Some people may say that it kind of kills the fieldcraft, but it hasn't really, because I always knew the deer was down there, but actually it just allows me to kind of get a bit closer, or allows me to kind of use the fields, but I know it's over there. And if you're in a big mountain, it's going to save so much time. A lot of things are gimmicks nowadays. You see all these knobs and dials, and they can do this, they can do that. Like Windows, you only use like 10% of it. But after using this and testing it out in the field, there is a precise application or need for this. Spotting those animals on the hill, then going around to them and getting to the right location. Taking that pinpoint coordinate of the animal which you shot and making sure you know where it is. That is brilliant. It really is. Optically it's brilliant, and it's got the technology as well. So I don't know how they can better this.
For more information about the Swarovski EL range with tracking assistant, go to swarovskioptic.com. Thank you, Tim. Now, from pinpoint accuracy to a wild stab in the dark, it's David on the Fieldsports channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. 9 shooting and countryside organisations have come together to represent game shooting. Launched at the Game Fair, the Aim to Sustain group includes BASC, the Countryside Alliance, the National Gamekeepers Organisation and the Game Farmers Association. It'll work to promote and protect game shooting and wildlife habitats in the UK, and they want your input.
Everybody in the shooting community will be able to go online and put forward their views and thoughts as to how this could work, and that will be genuinely listened to.
Britain's anti-firearm lobby Gun Control Network has launched a campaign targeting children. As part of the new push, newspaper giant JPI Media published GCN's press release word for word in local online websites, crediting each identical article to different journalists. One local online paper shows a photo of a Section 5 firearm, a handgun banned since 1997, so unlikely to be in the hands of children. Others show the backs of 2 police officers, suggesting gun ownership or having a licence is a crime, or the children criminals. A smaller publication uses a photo of an air rifle, which doesn't require a licence. JPI Media runs the articles alongside adverts for video games about armed mercenaries glorifying gun violence. GCN has not accepted an invitation for an interview. A rewilding group is suing the Scottish Government for granting beaver control licences. Trees for Life claims Nature Scot, formerly Scottish Natural Heritage, is breaking the law. It insists Nature Scot is handing out permissions to kill beavers too liberally. A judicial review on the issue is seen as a test case for rewilding campaigners who also want to introduce predators such as lynx. Trees for Life say licences to kill beavers should only be issued as a last resort when all other options, including moving the animals, have been considered. It also complains the permits do not specify the number of beavers that can be shot, effectively making it unlimited.
A big problem with rewilding large mammals is the eventual necessity for lethal control. The beavers, for example, in Scotland, you ought to be able to accommodate beavers in the UK. And the Scottish Government's taken a perfectly sensible decision to allow the control of beavers where they're causing serious economic damage or conservation problems. That's now caused mayhem. So you've got all the people that wanted to reintroduce beavers going completely mad and they're taking the Scottish Government to court.
An Olympic gold medalist has called Olympic shooting's governing body idiots. Peter Wilson, who won gold for double trap at London 2012, made the comments about the International Shooting Sports Federation alongside fellow double trap shooter Matt French at the Game Fair. The ISSF cancelled double trap as an Olympic sport. Peter now shoots Olympic trap, while Matt has moved to Olympic skeet.
The reason I think they're all idiots, I'll rephrase, is because they had an amazing opportunity. And you could easily say, okay, I shot double trap, I coached double trap, and then it was removed from the Olympics. What they had in double trap was an amazingly visual, it was wonderful to watch, is really what I'm trying to get at. And now you're trying to watch skeet and trap on TV, and it's very, very difficult. I love it. I absolutely love it. And as a result, I'll persevere. But a lot of other people won't. And I think what they had in that moment was an opportunity to, as we've talked about already, to sort of open the floodgates, allow men and women to compete together, to say that we won't have these separate classifications. The men and women will shoot the same number of targets over the same number of days, and the winner will be the winner.
Partridges are reacting positively to a new essential oil, reducing the need for medication. The product was tested on 35,000 birds during the rearing period versus another 35,000 birds which were given a similar product. Dr. Kenny Nutting at St David's Game Bird Services saw a mortality reduction of 2.5% in the birds where the product was used, compared with the other batch of birds. This amounted to 700 or so extra birds cleared for release. There was also a 35% overall reduction in the use of medication in poults up to 16 weeks old.
Last year, there was something like 6,000 new scientific papers on essential oils, acids, probiotics, and there was something like 50 on new antibiotics. So there's a clear shift, where it would have been the opposite direction. A lot of it, if you look at Chinese, for instance, they've been using plant medicine for centuries and centuries. But I think certainly in the last 5-10 years, there's been a lot of scientific evidence and drive for that, rather than sort of hearsay in where we were before.
Hunters are calling on the Romanian government to allow bear culls. This comes after a spike in deadly attacks, with one commentator claiming the country has lost more people to its own brown bears in the last 2 years than it has in combat since the Second World War. Like other Eastern European countries, bear attacks are extremely common, but control has been outlawed due to pressure from animal rights lobby groups. Staying with bears, and a US state has cancelled the 2021 black bear hunting season, apparently because of a clerical error. New Jersey has the densest population of black bears in the US. The state's comprehensive black bear management policy has expired, and the Department of Environmental Protection failed to renew it, meaning bear season is effectively cancelled. Governor Phil Murphy opposes hunting and last year closed all state land to black bear hunting. A New Jersey newspaper claims a hunting ban would appeal to Murphy's supporters and translate to votes in the upcoming election. Online commentators say the move is stupid, will lead to more bear attacks and that decisions about the environment should be left to experts and not politicians. South Africa's plan to ban lion breeding will lead to the slaughter of 10,000 of the big cats. South Africa wants to end breeding for petting, hunting and medicines, and accepts that its policy will lead to the destruction of more than a third of the world's population of lions. The policy also intends placing rhino from secured private facilities into unprotected areas where rhino populations have been massacred to or near to extinction. A petition to object to the draft policy position on the conservation and ecologically sustainable use of elephant, lion, leopard and rhinoceros ends today. Kenya says it has a backlog of 14 billion shillings of compensation for victims of human-wildlife conflict. Tourism Chief Najib Balala says the money has accumulated since he got into office 7 years ago, and so far only 2 billion has been paid out. He admits the department's business model was unsustainable and needed more revenue sources. While animal attacks increase, Kenya still bans hunting, which could provide much-needed funds and reduce conflicts. Officials say a new government plan has 16 strategies and 89 activities that will generate income, but do not go into detail. A leopard has been shot in northern India after snatching a toddler. 3 shooters spent 2 days tracking the animal in Uttarakhand. The Times of India says it is the 7th man-eater to be killed in the state this year. The 1.5-year-old girl was dragged from a village on Saturday. There was no trace of the child's body. And finally, the Queen has joined efforts to save the curlew. Her Majesty has offered land on her Sandringham estate in Norfolk to be the home for dozens of curlew chicks from eggs found at RAF bases. Prince Charles was on hand to oversee the release of 84 chicks this week.
Looking fantastic news to hear that the Queen's Sandringham estate has been chosen for the curlew's head starting project. The project is where they take the eggs from the curlews that have nested in the appropriate sites, often airfields. Queen's Sandringham estate is going to get 84 of them chicks onto that estate, where it's going to be hopefully successful because there's predator control on that estate. In 2019, 50 chicks were released with rings on and have been monitored. One has been known to successfully breed this year and has successfully reared 1 chick. Hopefully from the 84 chicks we can increase the number of chicks and hopefully get a lot more than just the 1 chick.
Newspapers covered the story. That, however, is not a curlew. You can't expect the Daily Mail to get it right all of the time. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Now a word from thermal superstar Pulsar. Can I also draw your attention to Blaser's new discount for members of the British Deer Society? All BDS members get 10% off Blaser firearms and accessories. Link to the announcement in the description below. Now, the game fair at Ragley Hall in Warwickshire at the weekend, and what a game fair it was. Not so many stands, packed to the gunnels with visitors, and if I felt Friday was a bit, don't know where we are after 18 months of being shouted at in the media, by Saturday we were on the front foot and things were happening. Here's what went on.
It had the trappings of any old country show, the fun of the fair when we arrived on Friday the 23rd of July 2021. Yes, there are plenty of people here, but is the game fair, after 2 years of COVID and shouting from Wild Justice, still relevant? Are we still relevant? Then on Saturday it felt like we realised that it is, and we are. The cricketer Ian Botham, now Country People's peer Lord Botham, wrote an article that morning, a call to action for the Daily Telegraph, and he came to tell us, personally, in the Carter Jonas Game Fair Theatre.
If you want to win a war, you bring all your allies together. You don't all go off in 9 different tangents with different agendas. So to corral them, and to get everyone going in the same direction. You know, as I said in there, so the one thing we must start doing is not continuously putting out fires. We need to actually start lighting a few of our own fires. And I think that we're coming together with the right people backing us. I think we can become a very healthy force for the countryside.
All he was supposed to do was announce the new Aim to Sustain group of shooting organisations pledged to protect game shooting. What he announced was the same kind of confidence he displayed 40 years ago winning the Ashes at Headingley. After Botham, the countryside was back. Personality after personality came on stage and said the same.
Could you see a possibility for a mainstream BBC show, perhaps somebody on gamekeeping, just like Jeremy Clarkson on farming? Could that possibly happen, or are we still a little way away from that?
No, absolutely we could. And, you know, I think it's about having the right people doing the right job, getting the right voice, and making sure that it's directed and edited in a way that is acceptable. And journalists are tricksy people, and as a presenter, I have no editorial control. And if you go out and make a program about something and it's an independent company making that, they have full editorial control, and you can do all sorts of things in an edit studio. And so it's a little bit risky because it might not tell the story that perhaps the people in this room want to be told. And we all know there is a huge amount of controversy, and you're alluding it to just by me being here. There, you know, that perhaps is me, you know, putting my head above the parapet. But it's about telling the story right.
At Fieldsports Channel, we run the Game Fair Theatre as a 3-day chat show. This year, I was interviewing people who are doing jobs that didn't exist 2 years ago. There was no Tweedle competition company in 2019. Deerbox didn't deliver venison. Mike Robinson set it up partly because of COVID. And the BBC had not yet told us that the countryside is racist.
Well, I mean, I did try and speak to the countryfile about it, because it was a very one-sided argument that isn't true, because I'm a black person. I can tell him exactly.
Are you?
I know. I can tell him exactly how it is in the countryside, and his assessment of the countryside was massively flawed. The numbers he used to criticize the countryside is massively flawed. You know, I have a lot of friends that are farmers, gamekeepers, and what have you.
I got Mark Avery onto the stage to fight it out with Andrew Gilruth of the Game and Wildlife Conservation Trust, and I'm not really sure why. Avery's arguments were stuck in 2016.
The level of persecution of hen harriers is so high that explains, without having to invoke any other explanations, the very low levels of hen harriers in the uplands.
Game Fair visitors watched Avery politely, but their interest is in the people speaking up for their sport.
I personally think it's very important in the current climate, that people like that channel, people like Ian Botham, people like Mike Robinson are putting themselves out there and championing field sports and everything else that goes with that,
So what happens next? Love it or disagree with it, Aim to Sustain is here to stay. It's not entirely clear what it will do apart from be big. Perhaps one thing it could do is set about picking up those multi-million-pound gamekeeping contracts that the RSPB is collecting. Except we in the shooting community know how to save curlews and capercaillie and look after raptors. And there is no shortage of people looking for jobs in the countryside, as we found out at our Careers in the Countryside mini-show.
Yeah, I've come in and asking about a gunsmith apprenticeship. I've been really interested in that sort of thing, and like woodwork and bladesmithing and all that kind of thing.
I'm a trustee of the Gunmakers Company Charitable Trust. And the basic aim of the trust is to provide support by way of bursaries for employers who are taking on apprentices within the gun trade. And trust has been going for 15 years or so, and we're now expanding it. We're trying to raise a little more money so that we can actually support more employers with more apprentices over a longer period of time.
What's been dogging us these last 2 years is lack of confidence. It takes the Game Fair to give us that back.
Good to meet so many of you at the show, especially, of course, the Fieldsports Nation members who came and had a cup of coffee with us before the theatre opened. We learnt a lot from them, such as this one, Josh Ward.
So the big thing I found with this is that ripple effect of the fact that it's on YouTube, it's not on TV, and it's not like, you know, once you've missed the episode, you've missed it. I can go back through a previous episode that one of the lads in work might mention a certain issue or a certain topic. I can go, watch this, I can educate you on this now. And it's there at the click of a button. Or it's someone who's never really got into it, they see it and it's made easily available and easily understandable through the programme. So deer stalking, you can watch it on there and within 10 minutes you sort of get a whole feel from start to finish. Or a game shoot, you learn that it's not just a bloodthirsty maniac with a gun, it's all the sustainability and the biodiversity of the land, and it just opens a lot of people's eyes. So the guys I work with, a lot of the junior soldiers, they're all learning about grouse moor management, and they realise it's not just expensive guns and people with lots of money, it's actually, it all starts at grassroots level.
Thanks Josh, who got nabbed by news editor Ben O'Rourke and made to talk, brave man. As well as meeting lots of members at the show, we signed up members, and I was glad to give away this lovely knife from ADG Custom Knives in last night's Fieldsports Extra to one of those. What is Fieldsports Extra? It's our weekly Tuesday night show that goes out to our supporters, where every week we give away kit worth hundreds of pounds. As well as the knife, I announced the winner of a £400 Aimpoint Acro red dot sight and announced this week's competition for £600 worth of Vario Revolution hearing protection. One lucky winner will get that next week. So how do you watch Fieldsports Extra? The quick and easy way is to sign up to be a member. Details in the description below. You will get a goodie box, including the badge that Josh was wearing, and you will support our news content such as this story. Rewilding, and what we think of it was a theme at the game fair. Ben has also put together a story about wolves.
It's a sight seen far too often in Europe. A field of sheep massacred by wolves. At this farm in Kosovo, wolves killed 90 in one night in 2020. Fieldsports News gets sent several newspaper reports or videos about wolf attacks every month. So why do some people want to introduce them to the UK as part of a massive rewilding push?
We're more densely populated than China, and so you would have to be bonkers to think that you can release wolves in anywhere in the UK where there will not at some point down the track be a need to control them.
In Europe, wolves are a protected species, so there's not much a lot of people can do about them. That's despite around 19,000 farm animals being killed or injured every year. In Austria, hunters say you can apply for a permit to kill a problem wolf, but bureaucracy hampers the system.
The problem is with issuing a certain license to take out a so-called problem wolf has taken a long time to be issued. By that time, I mean, that wolf has moved again. He's somewhere else, and finding the right wolf that has caused the damage is also easier said than done. Sharks are protected to a certain extent as well, but nobody would release sharks across the Italian coast just because that's where they could live, because the damage would be higher. So why would you start pushing the wolf into areas where damage is higher and start protecting the animal that is actually doing the harm?
There is one green concept which has little to do with reality. That is the balance of nature, balance between predators and prey. And here it's deer and moose. The wolves start multiplying and eating more and more and more until there is hardly any left. And then the wolves die of starvation. Before they do that, of course, they start attacking humans. And the cycle is about 50 years. Moose exterminated, wolf exterminated. Wolves die of starvation, and the moose population rebounds.
One of the biggest problems with rewilding is its unpredictability, something that people trying to do it overlook.
If you want to rewild, if you're the person, then everything you assert is a fact. And if you argue against those asserted facts, you're some sort of mad Luddite, and what you are saying is just made up to cause trouble. Again, these are complex mammals. It's quite difficult to reintroduce fish. Reintroducing a complex mammal is a lot harder because the mammal doesn't read the books. He doesn't know what the ecologists say it will do. If you release wolves in the Highlands, they'll control the deer population. Well, they might, but they will also affect the way the deer population uses the landscape. If you were a deer and you were being suddenly faced with a new predator, how would you react? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what that's going to result in Perthshire. They know what it has resulted in Yellowstone National Park, but they don't talk about the wolves that leave Yellowstone National Park and go 300 miles in a few weeks and start causing problems in Oregon.
In Scandinavia especially, history shows wolves to be a menace to society.
From the beginning of the 19th century, in Gysinge, a wolf pup was caught and brought up like a dog. When it grew up, it fled and started predating on children. And I think it managed to kill dozens of children before they managed to shoot it, because a wolf has extremely developed senses. They can hear you, they can smell you a kilometer away, and they are very, very careful and shy. So hunting wolves is horribly difficult. But it's an example that you bring up a wolf like a dog, a male member of the family, but he never connects to you. As soon as he grows up, he runs away and starts eating children, because that's the prey he knows. Wolves, they are ambush predators, lying in ambush close to the front door of a house. When a woman appears to go out for a leak, they snatch her and she disappears.
There have been high-profile cases in Europe where the authorities bring criminal cases against hunters who shoot wolves, ignoring defences including protecting their property, dogs or themselves. It's something Konstantin says can be more trouble than it's worth.
I do see a bit of a movement going towards managing the wolf, and maybe licenses getting issued a bit quicker. But I also see the hunting society sticking a little bit back on these terms, because, you know, we hunters are the bad guys already anyways, and you know, nobody wants to burn his fingers with the wolf issue at the moment.
Ian Coghill shudders at the thought of what would happen should a hunter kill a rewilded wolf in Britain.
If you study social media and the way that animal issues are dealt with by governments and the conservation industry, to think that when you finally had to shoot a wolf, which somebody would finally have to do, you would be lucky to survive. You'd be monstered on social media, your family would be threatened, all sorts of hell would break loose.
At the same time, he points out the hypocrisy of the rewilding movement.
I was alive when the great campaign was going on to ban stag hunting in the West Country. 3 packs of stag hounds. They would chase deer, and when they got too tired to run, they'd stand at bay, and the man would come up and shoot them. League Against Cruel Sports and others spent a fortune years and years trying to get a photograph of a stag hound biting a stag, because this would be evidence of terrible cruelty. What is proposed now is that shooting deer with a rifle is replaced by deer being pulled down by wolves. There won't be any man with a gun to shoot it before it's dead. Large mammals are killed by wolves by disemboweling. Bizarrely, the people that are proposing this often say that there's a sort of a stress-induced pain loss. So wolves frighten you so much that you can be disemboweled painlessly. But eco-tourists who would faint at the idea of catching a stoat are apparently prepared to pay money to watch wolves disemboweling deer somewhere up halfway up the Grampians. I mean, it's a bit weird, I think.
I contacted Rewilding Britain for an interview and was told wolves are not coming back anytime soon. So there was no point in aggravating the polarising debate with comments. Rewilders can be just as opportunistic on wildlife reintroductions as wolves are on sheep. Following their success bringing back sea eagles to the UK, there's no guarantee other alpha predators are off the menu.
Now, as some of you may be noticing, our top Olympic clay shooters are competing right now in Tokyo, with qualification underway in the women's and men's trap events. If they make it to the finals, they'll be shooting for the medals in the early hours of Thursday morning, UK time, 29th of July 2021. with a hefty Team GB slant, we'll bring you all the latest news on Clay Sports TV, where you'll also find our reports from the big competitions at the Game Fair. Link in the description below. Next, from alpha predators to the rest of the world of hunting and shooting on YouTube, it is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. Mark Taylor sends me a film of his friend Jack and him on a short stalk into a good buck, and it's all well explained. Potterick81 is stalking roe in his native Poland. It's the rut, the animals are out and about, and the shots are good. River and Moor runs simulated game days in Northumberland, and I ran into Spencer Tolley of River and Moor at the Game Fair. This promo video shows it at its best. Josh James, Kiwi Bushman's latest adventure blog in New Zealand, shows an unusual way to stop a deer. First you shoot it, then you scramble to get to it, then you jump on it. Bingo, you get venison. Staying in New Zealand, Noah and Harry take their friend Jared for a hunt for his first public land red stag and chamois in the latest from Clark Boys Hunting NZ. Christopher Koss sends me this: invasive feral pigs and foxes on private property on the edge of the Outback Channel in Australia. Back in the UK, Simon Bate has started a new channel, Air Pests, with airgun related hunting videos and product reviews. Here he is carrying out rat and rabbit control with an ATN 4K Pro on a 2.2 Weihrauch HW100 KT laminate. And finally, Yuri Crescendi fishes the River Po in Italy for giant catfish. Here's his latest monster. That's it for this week. I've put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the eye symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. And that's it for this week. If you haven't done so already, please whiz over to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv. You can click to like us there on Facebook and on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, pop your email address into our register page, and we'll contact you about the show Fieldsports Britain, which is out 7 PM UK time every Wednesday. And this has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.